keeping with this show's history of bad ideas and stupid decisions, we've now acquired this. Alright, so looking at our two, Svetlana and her not so distant cousin, well, let's take a look at what we got. We got Svetlana, but I don't know, Olga? So we got Olga here, Svetlana and her distant, not so distant cousin Olga, which is a NorTrac 250A. They were marketed by Northern Tool. It's still the same tractor, just older. So we got this loader. It's in really good shape. The bucket isn't all rusted out. You know, it's got some surface rust and pitting, but that's, I mean, it looks like it was just hardly used, which is fine. It doesn't have any teeth on it, which is also fine. If we want teeth, we can drill and add teeth, but most of the stuff I do around here, or I'm planning on doing with this right away, is mostly sand and loose soil. So, you know, I don't think I'm really going to need teeth. At some point, my goal is to use this loader, assuming we get it on Svetlana, to kind of level and fill and, you know, fix this swamp issues we're having here, but that's a far distant topic. Going back to what we have here, so Olga's hood is undented and in really nice shape, and it's older. It has the Russian letters stamped into it here. The older models did. I guess the later models, they took them out because they knew they were selling them on the US market, or, you know, all over the world. So we might have to replace some hydraulic lines. The rubber casing are mostly gone, and these aren't huge hydraulic lines, so I'm hoping it's not going to cost a fortune. It probably will. Some of them are in okay shape. Some of them I might run until they pop, which is, you know, it's just a cheap way of doing stuff. And looking at the cylinders here, for the most part, they appear to be in good shape. There's a little pitting here on the end of the cylinder, which worries me, but if they leak a little bit, I'll just keep adding fluid. I'm sure these aren't actual Belarusian cylinders. I think this is an American loader system. So these are probably gettable in the US, I hope, as replacement cylinders in a pinch, or, you know, we can always have them rebuilt for a small fortune. But anyway, all that is for what we paid for it. If it works and runs a little bit for what I'm trying to do, great. They aren't huge cylinders, but they are decently sized. I'm hoping to be able to maybe use this to lift equipment and engines sometimes occasionally. The hydraulic pump down here, or the hydraulic, this isn't the pump. Looks like they just took off the hydraulic pump and ran down here to their valve system, which there's a controller up here in the cab. I'll show you when we get in the cab that they use to run this. So they're just running off the hydraulic pump to the splitter, I don't know hydraulic terms, but to this valve that runs the loader. And then they have a separate lever up there which runs it. I don't know what the spring is going to. There's all kinds of interesting things on here. Anywho, and the cab, which is in pretty good shape. You know, it's got some age and everything, but my main goal with the cab here is to keep Svetlana out of the weather, because we just replaced some of the gauges and we're in pretty good shape here, although except for the seat, which Olga's seat is much better, which I'll show you when we get up there. But I just want to keep all of our stuff here from rusting out. As you can see, the floor tends to collect water, and I just don't want the inside of the cab rusting out more than it already has. The cab has actually protected the interior of this one fairly well, which you'll see. This is a much older tractor. I don't know what year this is. I have anything with a. This is a 1987-ish tractor, and I showed it in another video. But if you don't know, you can come around here to the back, and the closest way to tell is there's usually a date stamped on this cover here. In one of the stamping circles, they just stamp a kind of a date thing in there. This is the tractor plug for wiring, but usually there's something stamped up there. So that'll give you kind of a rough date. Obviously it's not exact. It's just whenever that plate was made. So we know it's 87-ish or before. Oh, this has an upper link. I just bought a new one for Svetlana. It's a little bit bent, but it would have worked for our purposes. But, well, you know, this has a PTO guard, which I think I'm going to salvage and put on Svetlana. Ours doesn't have that. Unfortunately, this cylinder also appears to be leaking. So, you know, I had hopes that I could just take, maybe this would have a good cylinder and I could just swap it over. What in the world is that? Oh, what is that? It looks like an egg. It is a real egg.
Pups.
We got this off of a farm, small farm. They had chickens, as you can tell. Oh, we got breakfast.
Oh.
Anyway, it's like an Easter egg hunt. It's a Russian Easter egg hunt. I wonder if they're nesting eggs. If I open that up, there'll be another egg inside. Can we egg somebody? Oh, this is great. Somebody, somebody attempted to fix this valve stem. That's fantastic. Fortunately, we don't have to reuse these, but I don't know. These tires are in awful shape, but if you need a set of wheels for a Belarus 250 and you're around the Jacksonville area, hit me up. I don't need those. Speaking of wheels and tires, the front tires on this thing are brand new. They still got the rubber on them, the rubber dings. So as you can see on Svetlana over here, the front tires are just absolutely awful. They got age cracks, and if you watch one of the other videos we did, we actually had to put a tube in one of these, and you know, it's still holding, but hey, we got a set of brand new tires we can throw on there, so you know, I'll take it. And both tires on this thing are about the same. They're both pretty awful. If you watch that video that has the tube on it, you can see how bad they really are. But so they're about the exact opposite. This has great rear tires and bad front tires. Good front tires and bad rear tires. Some of these hydraulic lines are in good shape, and I think they're going to work. There's just a few that worry me, but that's fine. These are smaller-ish diameter hydraulic lines, so they're not expensive as you'd find like on a cat bulldozer or something, but they're still not cheap. So again, I'll probably run them till they blow. Great thing about this loader, it's shaped well around this thing, on the front of this thing, so you can actually get to stuff. Like, you can actually raise the hood here, even with the loader in the down position or whatever, and you don't have to fight around anything to get to the engine. This has the original fuel setup up here, which, and the original return. If you watch our revival video on this, you'll see we're missing that part on our tractor, and I kind of had to splice something together, so that'll be something we might want to put on. This also has the original cleanable first stage fuel filter, which again we might put on our tractor rather than, I don't know, the spin-on ones they can get expensive, but as long as she runs, we'll keep her there. Oh, we got a horn and got a fuse block up there, but you know, Svetlana's horn works. So transmission is still in here. You can see just how big the clutch and bell housing are on this thing. If you watch the video we did on the John Deere, you can see a comparable American tractor of that period, clutch wise. You can see the whole clutch and even the design. This thing is just heavy duty. I mean, it's kind of one assembly on the flywheel here, unlike the John Deere, but to pull the clutch off, you pull these bolts and pull it off. But yeah, it's not quite as rusty as the John Deere was either, and this one's even older. But I got a spare second stage fuel filter. This interesting, oh, it's still got fuel in it. Interesting thing here, this is the dual canister second stage fuel filter. If we go to Svetlana, this is 87-ish, as we've determined, and this is 1992. And if you look at this, this just has, the second stage fuel filter is just one canister. I don't know at what point they changed that, but just interesting tech on these things if you're interested. Main reason I got this was for the loader. Cab and the tires and all the spare parts are an added bonus. Anyway, I think we're going to swap the hoods because Svetlana's is severely dented for sure. Swap the loader. Let's take a look at the cab. So this cab, and I still haven't determined who makes it. Oh, we got a spare toolbox. Woo! Anyway, this cab, I'll figure out how to open it here. Handle's busted, but that's fine. Is both sides, just the bottom part opens over here and not over there. It's bolted in, but so this locks into position if you want to drive with get airflow through here, and it does that on both sides. This bottom part opens up here, and this is kind of your door. And yeah, all right, let's take a look inside. So the one thing the cab gives us that Svetlana doesn't have is this nice handle here, so you can step on the step that's going to collapse. That's just confidence inspiring. We won't use that. And the seat is in much better shape. It's still rough, but I mean, it's there. At the very least, the armrests and back are intact. Here's the loader control valve I was talking about. Does it move? We might have to rebuild this, but no, she's free. So that'll be good. Oh, there's our engine air cover. Got a headlight down there. The brakes, I'm told the e-brake actually works on this, but check this out. This speedometer is in much better shape than Svetlana's, and that's just a swap. We got a fuel gauge. I don't know if it works, but if it works, we're going to put it in Svetlana. We got a full suite of gauges in here. Well, why didn't I buy this before I did all the... Well, this was... We should just bought this right off the get-go. Okay, standard hydraulic valves. I guess to run your loader, it looks like they had this in a down position. I guess that runs auxiliary pump for that, and then you can control your loader by the look of it, the way they have it set up. And then this is still the PTO. Where they have it in the... Well, anyway. And this one opens over here, but over here the bottom doesn't open. It's bolted in. That's fine because there's no ladder over there. But it's in good shape. It's got a windshield wiper switch up here. Just have to get a new wiper arm for it, but we can wire that in. That window's cracked, but that's fine because this one over here is missing. And this just uses your standard, you know, equipment glass stuff, and we can replace that with plexiglass if we want to. The main thing this cab will do is protect our insides from the weather for the most part. Oh, I didn't check in the toolbox. Oh, we got all kinds of stuff in there. Oh, half-inch wrench. Oh yeah. Dead test light. 9/16 wrench. This is, I mean, that's probably all you need to fix this tractor. All kinds of spare parts. We got, oh yeah. Oh, we got all kinds of goodies. Yeah, I mean, you can never have too many of extra hitch pins, and yeah, those wrenches are in good shape. Craftsman Stanley. Wow. Yeah, we're gonna hang on to them. Oh, there's a lock on there. Somebody don't have the key for. That's fine. This toolbox is actually in better condition than our toolbox. We might have to swap them out because my toolbox was supposed to be fixed by now. Steering wheel is actually in good shape. Interesting thing about these older tractors, I don't know anybody if you've been keeping track of this thing. It might look a little different than yours. This has the Svetlana over there has the later gauge cluster. It's kind of raised, and this has the much earlier gauge cluster. I don't actually see many tractors with that raised gauge arrangement, but that one has the turn signals and controls and everything on the gauge panel. This one has the turn signals and lights and everything here on the steering column, kind of in this separate box. Again, I don't know when they changed over to that, but just interesting tech if you're into these things. A little grease from what is new. I like this grab handle. That's going to be because I got to like grab over here and everything currently to get up, and it's just a pain. So this grab handle alone is worth the price of the cab. Transmission. Transmission might be okay. It goes into gear and everything, so. It's not completely sealed up, and there is a little bit of rust you can see here on the edge, but the rust isn't really, it's not really into there, and the underside of the cab is okay. We might pull this off and sandblast and repaint it if we're feeling energetic, and you know, make her look brand new and replace this or something. I don't know. Watch me fall off the trailer now. Anyway, interesting thing about these tractors, again, if you're into the tech on these things, unlike American tractors, well, even up till now, you can pull the engine and the tractor can still be bolted together because it has the subframe in here. Something, if you watched like our John Deere video, you know, if you want to pull the engine, you got to split the whole tractor and then you can't roll it around. But this thing, even though it has no engine, we can roll it around place to place, get it out of the way and strip parts off of it. Oh, as a further note, if you are in the Florida, Jacksonville area, and you see any parts on here that you want, other than the tires, the loader, the cab, hit me up. We got an injection pump that I'm told is good. We got a new oil pump. We got all kinds of miscellaneous Belarus parts like air intake. We got some heads, complete with injectors. I don't know the condition of the engine parts, but I believe that is a oil filter. This is, I believe, the centrifugal oil filter type. Yes, it appears to be that. I might keep this. I might put this on Svetlana because I prefer the centrifugal oil filter, but I don't know. Spare alternator. I don't know if this stuff works, but and all kinds of miscellaneous stuff like the engine oil fill and cap. And we got this stuff. If you have a Belarus and you need any parts for it, well, there's the belt I needed. Well, I mean, it's practically brand new. Not really, but we can maybe use it. I'll have to tarp this stuff, but hey, look, we got a tarp right here. Oh, injection pump. This injection pump looks to be in good shape, and I'm told that it worked and everything. So these are unobtainium to find used online. You can get new ones from like Ukraine, but there's not that many in the US. They're hard to find. If you need one, hit me up. That one I can ship anywhere in the country. That's fine. It doesn't weigh that terribly much, so if you're in the US and you need an injection pump. We've got some miscellaneous engine parts, bucket of bolts, camshaft, balance shaft. I don't know if these are any good. Actually, the camshaft looks really good. If you're looking for parts, let me know. I do not have the engine block or the crankshaft. Other than that, I have, what do we have back here? Cylinder heads. I have a flywheel housing for the front of the engine. That's in intact shape. I have an exhaust manifold and exhaust pipe. I have cylinders, which, I mean, these things aren't even scored. You could probably rehone them. Another head, oil pan, adapter plate, the fan assembly. I got this, and as you can see, the bearings are still, ouch, I chopped your fingers off. Oh, there's the starter. I got a fan, which is still good. Push rods. Got a starter. I don't know about the starter, but that's easy enough to test. Might keep that because they're hard to find. I don't know. If you need any of this stuff, hit me up, because it's either going to stay here for a little bit or it's going to get scrapped. This has, it has the chains, the stabilization chains here, which our tractor does not have. They appear to be broken, but we can fix that. That one's broken too. They just wired it together. That's fine. At least we can fix them and use them. For some reason, Svetlana doesn't have these. What else? Oh, this is missing the back glass on here, which, you know, well, it still has the, oh, something living in there. Probably a chicken. Is there a chicken in there? More eggs? Nope. Packing material. Something's been living in there. This is missing the rear fenders and headlights, which have apparently rusted off. Tail lights, I mean. Looks like the hydraulic pump is in good shape. Again, if you need a hydraulic pump, we can easily pull that off, and the hydraulic valve assembly. If not, I'll keep them or scrap them. As you can see on these Belarus tractors, nice thing, the hydraulic pump isn't on the engine. It's mounted on the transmission input shaft, which, if you ever work on some of these things, you'll realize is a little more convenient when you're doing engine work because there's less stuff in the way. Steering appears to be in good shape. Steering links, I don't know. Front axle is in good shape, but those probably never break. Oh, we're gonna have to put this loader on. If you see the structure of the loader, the weight is carried by these bars under the frame, and then this crosses underneath and it's bolted and welded together. But to help carry the load and distribute the forward cantilevered load, they have these bars coming down to the front, and Svetlana has the ballast weights attached to the front, which we're going to have to unbolt to put this on. I don't know if you can have both. If so, I'm going to put the front back on, because if you come to Svetlana over here, might not put the ballast weights back on, but one thing I do like is being able to pull things from the front of the tractor. So I'd like to have this, and it looks like there's room under the loader. It might just bolt back on over top of that loader plate, but we can pull the ballast weights off. So that's going to be part of that project as well. I think that pretty much covers everything. Oh, to put this cab on, what they did with the front fender lights up here is they pulled them off and they mounted them to the front of the cab. You can see they're still they're just flipped upside down. It's still curved, but these are busted. I'm not sure what we're going to do about that, because Svetlana, again, Tractor Tech, Svetlana has a different kind of light. These are the rectangular lights. They use the same ones in the back, I guess part duplication. But up here on the newer tractors, they use square ones back here, which those are long gone, and I just slapped those on temporarily. I don't really need them, but they're there to show they work. But Svetlana has these round lights. I don't know, the angle's the same, but those mounting plates might be different. Ironically, these are the only factory lights in the tractor that still work. I would have liked to keep them, but maybe we can move those to the front of the cab. I don't know, they're very bright and nice. We'll see. I'm sure the angle here on the fender is obviously the same as those rectangular lights, but we'll look into that. I guess the other problem with those is the turn signal and running lights are side by side, whereas on these they're top and bottom. So if we flip them, they'll be, well, upside down. I don't know if that'll be a problem. We don't drive this on the road, but yeah, in general the cab of that tractor survived much better. The rubber pieces and the handles and grips and everything out of the sunlight and out of the rain and weather. So big reason I'd like a cab on this. So plan for this, as far as the loader swap goes, it's actually not going to be that bad, because this whole unit rolls. So what we can do is kind of unbolt the loader on blocks, lower it with a jack or whatever, and basically roll this tractor off of the frame with the loader, and then we can just drive Svetlana over top of the frame, lift it up, and bolt it in position. The cab, I think the cab has to come off. It has to be unbolted in a lot of different sections, because like the front, I don't know, maybe it's welded. Anyway, there's going to be some weight to that, so lifting it off is going to be a little more of a challenge, but we're going to unbolt as many pieces as we can. I'm just making this up as I go along, because I don't know what's going to happen, but pieces like this, they just unbolt, and top piece, I don't know, maybe that won't weigh as much as I think it does, but the doors can probably be unbolted, maybe. And then we can maybe just, oh, and the roll bar is going to have to come off of this, maybe not. No, I don't think it does. Yes, it does. I think the roll bar is going to have to come off of this, because they kind of replace, this is a welded cab and everything, so I'm assuming this replaces the roll bar. So not all these tractors had this roll bar, so I think, yeah, because the cab comes up, I'm looking at the edge of the cab comes, I think they use these bolt holes for the cab, some of them. So this roll bar is going to come off. Good. this box? Oh yeah, this has all the, came with some new seals. He was going to rebuild the engine, but he couldn't find a new crankshaft for it. Probably way more than anybody ever wanted to know. So next time you see this loader, hopefully it will be not on this tractor anymore and we'll be putting it on that one. So I just wanted to give a quick rundown of, well, what this thing is and, you know, what our next project for the Belarus 250 AS is going to be. If you like what we're doing, or if you want to see all this stuff go on that tractor, feel free to subscribe, like, comment, and as always, thanks for watching.
Yep.
Action!